Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North, our top story tonight. Leeds United celebrate their return to top flight football.
Get it, Leeds!
What a city! Proud to be Leeds out with kids, eh? Yes!
It means a lot to us. We're all very excited.
We'll be live in Leeds as the celebrations continue. Also tonight. Thousands sign a petition calling for urgent action to improve road safety after a number of crashes in a West Yorkshire village. Free breakfast clubs open in schools, including Sheffield, but critics fear there's not enough funding from the government to cover the costs. And running for Rob, we join Lindsay Burrow as she prepares to run 2 marathons in 2 weeks to raise money for MND.
You know, at Rob's time of Rob's passing, I said I wanted to make him proud, and this is my way of, keeping that promise.
And it was a nice looking day when this was taken in home Firth this morning, but will the sun shine for the rest of the week? Join me for that detailed forecast.
Hello there, good evening. I hope you had a good extended weekend. Welcome to Tuesday's Look North. There were a few sore heads across the city of Leeds and beyond this morning, it's safe to say, after the Super Whites won automatic promotion to the Premier League, following an emphatic 6-goal win over Stoke. Fans had to wait until the end of Sheffield United's game against Burnley, though, to start celebrating. Sadly, the Blades did lose, which means they can only now win promotion via playoffs. Our sports reporter Sally Hurst is live in Leeds as celebrations continue this evening. Everyone's in a pretty good mood there tonight, aren't they, Sally?
Yeah, if you're a Leeds fan, then this was one of the best bank holidays ever, wasn't it? It was always the plan for manager Daniel Farke to get promotion, and he's done it with 2 games to spare. And that means as well those 2 games that Leeds could end up taking the championship title as well. Now I'm here at the Brudenell Social Club, where behind me the stage is set for the BBC Radio Leeds podcast recording tonight. Now when they planned this a couple of weeks ago, it was going to be a promotion push podcast, but now it's a promotion party podcast. They've got fans, they've got experts, they've got ex-players. We'll talk to some of them in a moment, but let's relive the glory first of all, shall we? Now Leeds had to win against Stoke and then wait for the result of the Sheffield United versus Burnley game to know their fate. And it's fair to say Leeds did it in style, their part. 90 minutes, 6 goals, 1 huge target.
Easy. Farking. Premier League, here we go.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely overjoyed.
It's been amazing. Because it's the first time I've seen them have a big win like that.
Brilliant result. Just wait for the Burnley Sheffield game now, and
maybe today and one of the next days during the next weeks. Believe me, I will be a fire beast and yeah, won't be cheesecake and won't be coffee. There will be also some other drinks. And normally I like to speak about the next training session and to be disciplined. I will be the first on the table, you can be sure.
The game outside the Peacock pub. When Burnley scored, there was a big reaction. The final whistle went. Leeds promotion confirmed. The Premier League awaits.
So promotion for Leeds and the playoffs for Sheffield United, and their manager Chris Wilder telling his players last night he's proud of what they've done this season, finishing 3rd possibly in the Championship. A real fate given the high level of competition in this league. They will no doubt be going into the playoffs in favourites to win that final place in the Premier League. But last night, for the Leeds fans, the celebrations went on long into the night. There'll be a fair few sore heads today. And my colleague Phil Bodmer has been catching up with some of them.
Freewheeling to the Premier League. For Leeds supporters today, a sense of reflection following a night of celebration.
I think it's a win-win situation for everybody, really, you know, because the local economy is going to thrive, obviously, you know, the bigger crowds, bigger attendances, there's going to be more money spent. So I think it's a positive for everybody involved, actually, yeah, I do.
In the shadow of the East Stand, some were still absorbing the promotion, while others seemed more relaxed about what it means to be back in the top tier of English football.
It means a lot to us. We're all very excited, and especially living so close, we're so keen for the kids to be Leeds fans. So it's great, really good.
It just brings us all back together. You know, we've had a great season in the Championship. We can now enjoy the big time again, and bring the fans back, you know, to how it was. We can enjoy it more now.
We've lived here 30 years at Elland Road, and we're just so happy, and it's just the best thing.
This year marks a quarter of a century since two Leeds United fans, Christopher Loftus and Kevin Spate, lost their lives after being attacked in Istanbul ahead of a European match against Galatasaray. For those who were there on that dark evening, promotion is a fitting tribute to their memory.
I think it's really poignant. I think it's really fitting. I think it's lovely. Keeps their names, you know, at the forefront of everything that we do as fans of Leeds United. And I think it's really fitting. It's lovely. A lot of hugs last night. I raised a glass to them both.
Alongside a boost to the club's coffers of up to an estimated £100 million, it's hoped there'll also be a knock-on impact for the wider economy of the city in terms of hospitality and tourism. Well, we've been talking to local businesses here on Elland Road, and while they say they're delighted that Leeds have got promotion back to the Premier League, when it comes to day-to-day trade, it really won't make that much difference because on match days, they say, they're already busy anyway. On social media, Hollywood actor and football fanatic Russell Crowe posted, and thank you Burnley on X, while local boxing legend Josh Warrington celebrated with this message.
I'm sure there's a few sorrows out there. We're Premier League, baby.
With promotion sealed, supporters can now relax and enjoy the two remaining games, something he would surely have approved of. Phil Bottomer, BBC Look North.
Well, I'm joined now by some guests, including, of course, Leeds United legend Eddie Gray. Eddie, you were in the stands. You must have been almost able to relax with that many goals.
Yeah, I mean, the team have done tremendous this year. All credit to Daniel and his players. Yesterday was quite a relaxing day, funny enough. You know, you're in top, you're winning the game comfortably. And I think it gave everybody connected with the football club a chance to enjoy it without being really nervous. You know, the game was very comfortable, the team played well. A great finish to the season for us, you know, to be back in the Premier League. And, you know, it's where Leeds United belong. You know, it's a big city, you know, massive support. And it's just nice to be back there.
And an emotional night for you as well, with your great nephew making his senior debut. And Harry went on, you had a tear in your eye. Talking of celebrity fans, we've got Simon Ricks over here, big Leeds United fan with the Kaiser Chiefs. What was it like for you watching last night?
Yeah, it was great. It was just a kind of perfect day, which Leeds United don't deliver that often. Usually put us through the ringer. And in fact, I've kind of said to a few people, it was almost too easy. Because usually, like, it's got to be scraping the win and then the opposition putting you through it. But actually, everybody did their bit. Early goals, hat-trick in 20 minutes, right?
Can't ask for more.
Eddie said, we could relax.
Exactly.
And then the Burnley-Sheffield United game, I was completely like, I kind of didn't mind what happened there. Because I think all the options helped Leeds. So it was great.
Well, I'm going to turn now to Adam Pope, BBC Radio Leeds commentator. And I just wanted to ask you, Popey, about the finances. What does this mean for the club in terms of going up into the Premier League?
Well, we've been doing a bit of digging today, Sally, and it could be as much as £200 million. I mean, that's the exponential growth in commercial revenues, broadcast revenues, match day revenues is huge. And don't forget, on top of that, they are now planning to extend the ground as well, which will create even more revenues going forward. But yeah, it's a massive hike, it is. It's all about spending it wisely though now.
Yeah, spending it wisely. It's a big deal for the club and the city as well. And Aidy White, former player, do you think Leeds can stay up this time? Because there's a bit of a yo-yo, isn't there, between the Premier League and the Championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hard task, there's no doubt about it. But the finances over the years and the gulf in between the Premiership and the Championship is always growing. So it's going to be a difficult task, but we've got to have full belief in them. You know, we've got the support of all the fans behind us and then the investment of the 49ers. Hopefully they can invest in a few more players and bring in the right sort of characters that Daniel Farke likes. And from there, who knows? It's going to be difficult, but our backers.
Thank you very much. Well, the stage is set, as I say, for that BBC Radio Leeds podcast. The recording will be on BBC Sounds tomorrow. You can hear all these voices and more. And I'm sure Leeds fans will be living in this moment for at least the next few weeks, months, until the start of the Premier League season anyway.
Indeed they will, Sally, thank you. And if you're wondering where the fans are, they're queuing up outside those doors at the Brudenell Club waiting to get in. Thanks, Sal. Next tonight, let's turn to some other news. Thousands of people have backed a petition demanding new safety measures along a road in West Yorkshire. Residents say way too many accidents happened at a set of junctions in Shepley, and many are now too scared to drive around their own hometown. Dan Bater has been to meet those calling for urgent action from the local council.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and the next second, collision, all the airbags, lots of smoke from the bonnet.
The car was a write-off, and obviously the other car was severely damaged. I think we were extremely lucky not to be seriously injured.
Debbie and Roger crashed along this road 2 months ago when a camper van drove out of the car lane junction in front of their grey Golf at speed.
We've lived here now for over 29 years, and this junction and the next junction have always been known for being quite a risky area for accidents, and it just seems to have got worse in recent years.
Residents that live next to this junction say that incidents happen on an almost weekly basis, and one parent even told me that they're too scared to walk their children to the nearby school because of this notoriously dangerous area.
This is actually rebuilt wall from the last accident.
Emily Townsend's work is within earshot of one of the junctions. She says safety measures are needed here as soon as possible.
In my local business, we constantly hear on a daily basis the horns and the screeches, and you almost brace for that impact of knowing that there is going to be an accident. And local residents shouldn't be scared to drive through their own community thinking that there's going to be an accident. I believe these junctions are so unbelievably dangerous.
There's now a petition launched by a local councillor demanding better safety measures along this section of road.
It's not something that's just suddenly occurred, but it is getting worse. And we're only into April. We're already this year using 7 or 8 accidents at this junction. Something needs to change. There are more accidents at this junction than any of the adjacent junctions.
3,000 people have signed the petition, meaning it will now be debated at an upcoming council meeting. Kirklees Council say that only 8 incidents were logged at the junctions between 2019 and 2023, and the Cabinet Member for Environment and Highways told the BBC, "We would like to assure residents that improving road safety across Kirklees is a priority for the council. We welcome petitions such as this one as they are an important tool for communities to raise their concerns." The council weren't able to access more recent data, but John says newer stats would tell a different story.
We've had more accidents since then. We've had 7 or 8 accidents this year, never mind 2024. They should be looking at the number of accidents that are occurring when they occur, not 18 months later. By that time, sadly, you could have had a fatality because they haven't acted quickly enough.
Even though Debbie and Roger weren't seriously injured earlier this year, the collision has affected them significantly.
You kind of think it's never going to happen to you, but yes, approaching this junction now does make us nervous, and it makes me nervous with other junctions as well, to be honest.
This couple and the other 3,000 petition supporters are hoping the upcoming council debate will make people feel much safer along this small stretch of road. Dan Bater, BBC Look North, Shepley.
Around 20 people are still out of their homes following the explosion in Worksop last week. Bassett Law Council say it could be some time before they're able to return. Demolition work is continuing on John Street after a house blew up. 3 houses need to be demolished, which means 14 others have to remain empty for now. 53-year-old David Howard was killed in the explosion. A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and remains on police bail.
Absolutely. In that affected area, we actually allowed people back into those buildings at the end of last week, 15 minutes, so they clearly can only have recovered a relatively small amount of their possessions. So there will be people with literally a bag of clothes that they are having to now try to sort of find out how they're going to survive in an unknown timescale. So again, if there's anything we can do to support them, local businesses have been great. We've had lots of input from for a whole range of people within the community. But with that, we see that as continuing for quite considerable time.
The former British cycling champion Barry Hoban has died at the age of 85. A pioneering figure in UK road cycling, he won 27 races throughout his career and for the 30 years held the record for the most stage wins by the British rider in the Tour de France. A spokesperson from British Cycling called him an inspirational athlete. Back to football now. In League Two, Doncaster went top after 3-0 win at Colchester. Goals from Harry Clifton and Jordan Gibson in the first half, and Patrick Kelly in added time moved Rovers 4 points clear of the fourth place Walsall with 2 games to play. A 3-3 draw between Chesterfield and Bradford left the Bantams also in an automatic promotion place. It's also kept the Spyrites in touch with a chance of making the playoffs. Let's move on to boxing now, and wins for Sheffield's Dalton Smith is one step closer to a world title fight following a resounding points win over Matteo Germain in his home city. Smith delighted his fans inside Park Community Arena as he proved his world-level credentials in another impressive display, and he's now knocking on the door of all the leading names at lightweight. He's hoping for a shot at the world title this year. On the undercard, Josh Warrington from Leeds scored a comfortable points victory over Asad Asif Khan. Now, free breakfast clubs opened this morning at more than 700 schools in England, including Sheffield. Parents will be able to drop off their children half an hour earlier as part of a trial running until July. It's ahead of an expected national rollout, but some teachers have raised concern about the funding. Our education correspondent, Vanessa Clark, reports.
It's a slightly earlier start than normal for some of the pupils here at High Green Primary School in Sheffield, as it's the first week of their new free breakfast club.
I just think it's a nice thing for her. You know, it's a little bit more time with her friends before school. She likes her food as well, so she'll be having a second breakfast because she had strawberries this morning. But yeah, it's lovely.
It means that we're a lot freer as a family, and Ava really enjoys coming. She said, "Can I go every day?"
The school have been busy planning for weeks, rearranging staff timetables and making sure there is enough room. So what do the pupils think?
You get to have time with your friends before school to talk and play games with them.
And what do you have to eat?
Toast, sometimes you can have cereal, and you can have, if you don't fancy toast, you can have cereal instead.
So you're definitely a breakfast club fan?
Yeah.
We're going to have children achieving more because they're ready to start the day in the right frame of mind with a full stomach.
Dawn Aldridge was keen to encourage those families who sometimes arrive late or struggle with breakfast at home to take part.
I've rung certain parents and said, come on, bring the kids in, they're going to love it. And they are loving it. They're the targets. They're the ones that I want to come in. And if I can change the morning for 2 or 3 children, this has all been worth it.
Free breakfast clubs in every primary school in England was one of Labour's main promises when coming to power, and 750 are now starting this term to test the ground. Each of the schools have been given start-up funding to help pay for things like new equipment, and then they will be reimbursed in the autumn term based on the number of children that attend. But some schools have dropped out because they felt it wasn't financially affordable to take part.
What's your favourite thing about Breakfast Club?
The National Association of Head Teachers past president Simon Kidwell is keen to see what works and what doesn't.
The governments have said this is a test and learn phase, and we very much want to say if there's any challenges around funding or challenges around the logistics, we can feed that back to the DFE so that they can make some tweaks.
More than 180,000 children will take part in the pilot, and schools cannot limit the number of places available. Head teachers will be keeping a close eye on any challenges that arise, so this will be a real test to see if the promise of free breakfast clubs for every child can be achieved. Vanessa Clark, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Well, they look like they're having a great time there, don't they? Now, finally this evening, Lindsay Burrow at the weekend will run the London Marathon in memory of her husband, the rugby league legend Rob Burrow, who died last year. Then in 2 weeks' time, she'll do the Leeds Marathon in his name. It's quite a challenge, that, isn't it? It's all to raise funds to help research into motor neuron disease and the Leeds Rhinos Foundation. John Maguire has been joining Lindsay in training.
Life is very busy for the Burrow family, balancing school, sports, dancing, and for Lindsay, work and training for 2 marathons. There's never a dull moment.
Which one are you excited for the most?
I'm more nervous for the Leeds one, I think, but excited to run the London.
The motivation comes not just from her 3 cheerleaders, Maya, Macy and Jackson, but also, of course, from her late husband, Rob.
The reason I'm running the marathon is in Rob's legacy, and I want to keep his legacy going. And as I lace my trainers up, I will definitely be thinking of Rob and the M&D community, and that's ultimately why I'm running the race. To make Rob proud. I think at Rob's time of Rob's passing, I said I wanted to make him proud, and this is my way of keeping that promise, really.
Since his motor neurone disease diagnosis, the couple made the decision to open their lives to help and inspire other families going through tough times.
I think that's my coping mechanism is to keep going, and I think if we all do our little bit to to give people hope and to continue to raise awareness, not just for the MMD community but the caring community, that's ultimately why we do what we do. And I feel very fortunate to have had that platform to share our story, and the hope that was if our story inspires or gives another family hope in dark times, then ultimately that's why we wanted to share the story.
Honestly, I'm just so proud of her. She's so incredible, and I wouldn't be able to do that, let alone run one marathon, 2 in 2 weeks. Oh my goodness me. You'll definitely need a spa day after them.
She's done a couple of marathons before, but she'll run this year, having already done the London Marathon just 2 weeks earlier.
The challenge will be the recovery between time. So thinking to when I last ran my marathon, it took me 2 days to walk down the stairs properly. So I think it's going to be a lot of nutrition, fueling, refueling. Not obviously I've done the hard work in terms of the mileage for the first marathon. So it'll just make sure that I'm ticking over, that I'm in as good shape as I possibly can be to take on the second challenge. How old would I have been then? 13.
She does have experience of the London race, having travelled to support her dad Graham, who ran it 5 times in the 1990s, 30 years ago. So, what training tips can he share?
Just keep going. Just keep going, Lindsay. Well, my son Mark, he's run with her and he says she's a machine. I'm sure she'll do us proud.
Her target, she says, is to cross both finish lines with a smile. But she'll achieve so much more over almost 53 miles, as once again the Burrows spread the word. There will be pain, there will be pleasure, but above all, she'll highlight the power of hope.
She really will. What a wonderful woman she is. Best of luck, Lindsay. And the girls are right, you definitely deserve a spa day after that. Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you, it's nice to be back.
How were your 2 weeks in Bridlington? You look very good on it, I have to say.
Actually, it was Scarbados and it was wonderful,
Thank you. Well, dare I say it, the weather's been wonderful while you've been away.
I know.
Right, let's have a look at Linton Falls, an absolutely stunning part of the world. This was taken on Saturday, of course. The weather was, Sunday, should I say, the weather was fabulous there up near Grassington at Linton Falls, and this was Robin Hood's Bay. That's
wow.
beautiful as well. So apart from yesterday, which was a bit rotten, we did have a nice bank holiday weekend, and there's quite a bit of fine weather to come over the next few days. And if we look even further ahead, second half of the weekend into early next week, some warmth coming up from Spain and France, all a long way off, but something perhaps to look forward to. If you've got any pictures, the addresses are on your screen right now. So tomorrow's not looking too bad. Might start off cloudy across South Yorkshire. There might be 1 or 2 afternoon showers, but on the whole, it ain't looking too bad. This is a slider system which might clip into South Yorkshire tonight, maybe West Yorkshire. And then a ridge of high pressure means Thursday and Friday should be fine. A lot of cloud coming in from the North Sea, which could take quite a long time to break up. And then this system brings cloud and drizzle Saturday morning, and once that goes through, temperatures do climb with some warm, almost summery weather during the second half of the weekend. Now there's the system I've just talked about. It's currently coming into Ireland and it's going to slide southeastwards. So after a mostly fine evening, 1 or 2 showers, this system will bring rain maybe as far north as West Yorkshire for a time, into South Yorkshire later. North Yorkshire stays dry and we'll see lowest temperatures coming in at 5 or 6 degrees. Tomorrow's high water times, a lovely day again in Scarborough. Whitby 12:58 Scarborough, 2 minutes past 1 in the morning, your high water time. So I think South Yorkshire, the North Midlands, cloudy to start with, a bit of drizzle. North Yorkshire fine with some sunshine. 1 or 2 sharp showers breaking out through the afternoon, as you can see on the graphics. But I think for many, there'll be some warm, sunny spells later, some low cloud coming into coastal areas. But temperatures not bad for this time of the year. Remember, the average is 12 or 13. We're way above that. 17 in Leeds is 63 Fahrenheit. Thursday and Friday, a lot of cloud in the mornings, brightening up in the afternoon. And there's a hint. Look at these temperatures taking off towards the end of the weekend. That's the forecast.
Oh, it's lovely. Who needs to go away with temperatures like that, eh?
Exactly.
Staycation is all you need. Thanks, Paul. Now, Sheffield United fans, you might want to turn away because we are going to leave you with a reminder of how Leeds United got back into the big time with promotion to the Premier League.